morning, my woodlums. So we got back up here to the site, and as promised, I'm going to be making a video on how to start a fire in the winter. Now, of course, the entire video is going to be on YouTube, and I'm mostly just going to be posting a couple clips on TikTok, because I don't really like making long-form content on TikTok. But as you can see, I got my grill here because I'm about to cook some breakfast. I got my sirloin burger, which I'm going to take that wrapper off before I cook it. I got them sausages, my water, beer, and some sticks. But as you can see in the fire pit, I kind of discarded and disposed of some of the old wood. And you kind of want to dig a hole here. Now, granted, my camera is not connected to my head or anything fancy like that, so it's going to be a little tough trying to figure out how to do this. But what you want to do is kind of look around. These are decently dry. I would say that this is burnable, but in the case that it's not, what I would do is I'd take a rag, like a washcloth, and I'd get a whole bunch of them. I'd stick it in that washcloth and I'd tuck it into my truck overnight, and that way it would dry them out. I knew these would be dry this morning though, so I wasn't too worried. In the case of bark, you're gonna do something very similar. You know, you want to wrap it up in something, some sort of cloth, because this is wet. This is not burnable. It's very bendy. It's not very, you know, burnable. I'll even show you. I mean, honestly, I could probably burn a little piece like this, but if I'm trying to start a fire, I want way more than this. But I'll show you real quick kind of what I mean. This does not want to light easily. And this is bark we're talking about. It's thin, easily lightable material. That's what happens when you get wet bark. Wet bark, wet leaves. They don't like to burn up. So we're actually going to test some of these leaves. We're going to see where the driest point of area will be. It's probably in this area. I'd assume if I took some off the top that most of these leaves will be okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it in this fire pit. I'm going to attempt to light it just to kind of test the moisture level of these leaves. See if they'll even light. Yep, as you can see, the leaves are pretty dry. They're gonna light for me. So, most of them will. I don't know. It's looking a little rough. But as long as I've got some dry twigs, because the whole point of this is called what you'd call a fire starter. And then you're gonna come over, you're gonna grab something like this. Long, thin twig. This is dry. This was actually in my truck last night, so I know it's dry. I'm gonna break a couple pieces off. This is what you're gonna call your kindling. As you can see, those leaves, not all of them are really dry. I'm gonna discard those, make sure there's no way that they can start a fire. Bury them in the dirt a little. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna find the driest leaves that I can, because I'm an idiot and I forgot to try them last night. Find a couple of dry patches here and get the driest leaves that I can off the top. And stack them in a little pile here. Discard any that are more than wet. This is going to be my fire starter right here. You're going to take these leaves, and you can do this with bark. You can do it with hay. You can do it with corn husks. Doesn't really matter as long as it's something that's immediately lightable. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and start putting these. I'm gonna put one here in the middle, kind of like this. Probably use a thicker one. You wanna take one of your thicker ones. You kinda wanna lay it. I kinda wanna get it above these leaves, like that. So then it's got a bridge over it. I'm gonna take these thin ones, I'm gonna lay it over top. This is what I like to call the furnace. You just wanna lay those on top of there, like that. And then you can switch to a log cabin, and that should light these twigs, okay? I'm gonna take another big one, kind of put it right here. All right, now that you got that built, I'm a little strange. I don't really build my fire all the way first because I want to make sure that this is gonna actually light. Take your match, put it under there right in the middle, burn that. You kind of want to burn multiple points of contact to your fire starter. That way, you're really getting into that wood, okay? Now that should get going, that should, oh, looks like it might not. Nope, nope. Fire is a miracle. Fire is a miracle. Fire is a miracle. Come on. Come on. Fire is a miracle. All right, so we got this one lit. That's all I need. I just need one of them to get lit, okay? I still got some fire underneath there as well. As long as there's flame, you can work with that, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly build this up because a lot of this stuff is actually still pretty wet. I don't wanna immediately go to my wood. So I'm gonna build it up a little bit thicker. Little bit thicker here, okay? That should light these twigs. Yeah, like I said, it's still pretty wet out here. Might come across a few issues with that. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna restart it, okay? Because unfortunately, it didn't catch these sticks as much as I wanted them to. So we're gonna restart, all right? You can always restart your fire. And restarting your fire is not bad. There's a reason for that, and I'll get to that later. But we're gonna grab some more kindling. This time, since all of that's already there, I'm gonna try to stuff this kindling in there, okay? It's not all ruined yet. I just need to get one of these sticks to really catch flame and hold it for enough time for me to put these bigger sticks on. So I'm gonna do it again. We're gonna light it right here. All right, multiple points of contact. I'm actually gonna leave that match right there because it's gonna go out on me. Gonna light another. And if you need to, you can even use these matches to get your fire started. See, this twig really likes to burn, just for some reason, not for an extended period of time. So, I'm gonna put that in there. Oh, didn't want to. Okay, that's fine. Totally fine. All right, I'm gonna build around this because I really need something else to get going here. Really need something else to get going here. Unfortunately, with the wet weather, I may have to take a couple of these matches, throw them in here as kindling. All right, now that that's going, I want to get these bigger twigs on here. And we're gonna put 3 across. We're actually just gonna do 2. We're gonna go 2 across. I don't want this fire to breathe too much actually, so we're gonna go 3. Too much oxygen, your fire will go out. Too little, your fire will go out. You gotta find a balance. So, all right, we're really starting to catch. We're starting to catch here. If I need to, take a couple more of these matches, throw them in here, get them all nice and cooking. That's totally fine if this is what you need to do to get your fire started. Anything to get your fire started. I want to work around this fire. You see this crack? I'm going to put this crack side down. If it'll let me. I'm going to put that crack side down. And we're going to watch that fire build. We're going to watch that fire build. Here we go. Perfect. Those matches were great. Looks like we caught a couple twigs. That's all we were going for. Oh, shoot. Looks like the heat doesn't want to be intense enough for me. So I'm going to make it intense enough for me. All right, we're going to discard what doesn't get burnt. And we're going to use these again, okay? Sometimes it's going to take you a couple of tries. When everything's all wet, all hope seems to look lost. Don't get me wrong, I get it. Can really take an impact on you sometimes, where you're saying, oh man, this just is not lighting. But again, there's a reason why I'm not worried, and I'll get back to that in a second. So, do you see how I'm building heat down here? I'm building coals, I'm building heat. I'm building a substantial base, because your best kindling in all of the world is actually, you may not believe me in this, it's your coal. If the coal gets hot, it can light twigs without a flame. As long as it's hot enough, then you can light twigs without a flame. So the more coal that I build on the bottom, the more confident I am that this fire will eventually start. And I'm filming this. This is a very imperfect run because there's a lot of good information that you can get out of this. Such as, I'm going to use my matches. I'm going to burn up my matches. I'm going to burn up these leaves. I'm going to build the charcoal base. I'm going to put this back on top of here because I still got fire going under there. I still got fire. And that's all you need to worry about, is as long as you got fire, then hope is not lost. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow on this charcoal. That's going to build that heat up. You see that? Just a nice gentle blow on that fire. You're going to build that heat up. It's going to catch these twigs. I'm going to use the charcoal side of the twigs because I know those are dry. Nice charcoaly base down there. Very, very good for us. The more charcoal we can have under there, the better your life's going to be when starting a fire in the cold with wet material. I hate taking this long to start a fire. I get it. It can be really daunting. It can be kind of depressing. I still got a little flame going there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little more of these leaves and make sure it's dry, because I don't want to put that little flame out. But I need the flame to be strong. So I'm going to grab some of these leaves. I'm going to gently put them on. Make sure it doesn't smother that fire. I really want to build that charcoal base. These leaves are kind of wet, so I want to be careful. All right, so those are going to burn. I'm going to grab some more. And you might have to do this over and over and over until your fire gets started. And it will be frustrating. It will seem like your fire is just never going to get built, but as long as you're patient and as long as you're dedicated to getting this fire started, it's going to start, okay? Yeah, that's good. Now the fire looks like it's getting big. It's not. I'm actually building the heat up really high right now, which isn't the best unless you're trying to dry out some twigs, get them to catch fire. Build that charcoal base down there. The more you can burn at the beginning of your fire, the better off you're going to be. The more fire that there is, the more you can burn. The bigger you can burn, the brighter you can burn, the more charcoal is going to sit at the bottom, okay? Right now, we're at these twigs, and that's where we're going to stay until I can get this fire nice and secured. I really want to show you the stability of what a fire can do once it's got that charcoal base down there. Do you see this? All those leaves are falling down there, and they're building a nice hot platform that my twigs are sitting on. And these twigs are just going to add it's just going to add to that charcoal base. Very nice. Do you see the stability? It took us a minute, about what, 10 minutes to make this fire, which typically it'd take me maybe 2. On a nice warm day with some dry wood, take me maybe 2 minutes to get a fire like this going. This wood is pretty wet right now, just from the humidity. But what I'm gonna show you, what we're gonna do with this, okay? We're gonna readjust my fire here a little bit, make sure to grab where it's safe. On non-charcoal sides, don't burn your hand. I'm gonna balance this here, okay? I'll come back, get some more wood. And I'm gonna build a furnace type fire, okay? Where you balance this across and you get 1 or 2 or 3 of these woods. I typically go with 2 or 3. Today we're gonna go with 2. I don't need a really long fire. So, and I'm gonna just put that right over top. You see? Perfect. This fire will keep going. It is not going to stop as long as I feed it fuel. And there you have it. We have built a fire with semi-moist material. These leaves are semi-moist. Bark, very moist actually. It wouldn't even light. These are pretty dry. They're still a little moist around the edges. As you could see, I thought that twig that we had used, the one that I grabbed from over here that I had in my truck, it was really wet last night. Turns out it was still pretty wet. These twigs here were pretty hard to light, which pine wood, which is what we're using here, should not be that hard to light if it's dry. Now granted, it will eventually pick up and you'll be able to get the fire going, but it's going to take extra effort. Don't give up. Don't get frustrated. It's pointless. You throw your arms and wail and cry all you want. You're out here in the cold, and you gotta get a fire started. Then get it started. Now, granted, if you're stuck out here without matches, without a lighter, and you got a flint and steel in a survival kit, or you gotta use one of those fancy crossbow friction on the log method, that's gonna be tough. This is why I tell you, be prepared. Get your survival equipment. Keep matches in your car. Keep a lighter in your car. I don't care what you got to do. Get something. You could even keep butane in your car and a Zippo lighter, and that'll last you years. That'll be great. It'll cost you very cheap to do it. Just get it. It's so much more worth it to have. That way you're not stuck out here in the cold trying to figure out how to flint and steel wet material. Because I guarantee you're not starting that fire that night. It's not going to happen. You're going to have to gather a bunch of things like pine needles. These are pine needles, the stuff that's on the floor, all these little things. Yep, you're going to have to gather a bunch of these small little twigs here. You're gonna have to keep them in a cloth, and if you don't have a cloth, you're gonna have to keep it in your shirt or a jacket or something that can soak the moisture out of it. You're gonna have to keep it in your car and freeze. That's what's gonna end up happening. You're gonna have no fire, you're gonna have no food to cook, and that's not what you want, I'm sure. But anyways, that's 101 how to start a fire in cold weather, semi-moist material. I used all natural material until the end, of course. I used this wood that somebody left me, and it's great. Thank you for that. Of course, I would have used these if all else come to it. Now, here's something that I want you to keep in mind as well. I can keep burning these and create more charcoal. It's not going to burn very long, and not as long as a fresh piece of wood. I also want you to keep in mind as well, once I get this fire started, I can go and pick something up that's pretty moist. This is pretty moist. This is, I mean, nice and bendy, not very snappable. I'm going to throw this on the fire. I'm going to show you, because once you build that heat, it's going to dry this out. It's going to dry this wood out, and it's going to burn it. So yes, you can burn pretty moist wood. I would probably take the bark off. That's not going to burn. Bark is got a sap and stuff on it, makes it waxy, makes it so that it can't really burn. But once you get to the core, something like this, even if this is wet, this will dry out in your hot fire and it will start to burn. Easy as that. So I guess go over the steps, dig out your pit, make sure it's concaved. You know, you want a bowl to work with, because you want to cut out any wind, and you want to retain that heat as much as you can. So the tighter the bowl, the more heat you're going to get. Grab your kindling, build up that charcoal base, specifically with kindling and twigs. Once that charcoal base is built up, you're going to see your fire come to life. Okay? The more it comes to life, the more you can put on it, the bigger things you can put on it, the more moist things you can put on it. Okay? So don't give up hope. Just because it's cold, just because things are wet, does not mean that you cannot make a fire. You just need to build that charcoal base up to where it puts enough heat out that you can start a fire without matches. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to cut the video off when this fire's done. I'm going to clear out to the charcoal base. I'm going to show you that I can put a piece of wood on just charcoal that doesn't have an open flame, and it's going to start a fire. Anyways, I'm getting a little better at this filming thing. I'm doing whatever I can, guys. Cut me a little slack. All right, I may not be the most entertaining person in the entire world, and I'm pretty factual. But I'm sure the puns and stuff will come later, and the fucking silly accents like beer. You know, I got me some Stuggies. It'll all come later. Cut me some slack. I'm new at this. But I do got good tips, and I really hope that anybody who's willing to watch really pays attention, because this is good information to have, especially with how things are going with the market, especially how things are going with the country. You may end up in a situation where you have to come out and do something like this for a little bit. And you know what? That's totally fine. Accept it, work with it, move on. In the meantime, I'm going to pull out my grill. I'm going to cook these up, because I don't have to cook it over the fire. I could show you how to do that another time. I'm actually really good at cooking over a fire. I just need the equipment for it, and I gotta wait till next paycheck to get my pans and stuff, because unfortunately those are all left at a particular place that I'm not going back to currently. And so I'm just gonna get some new stuff to cook over a fire with. Woo! I'm gonna show you how I do this as well in another video, so I'm gonna pause this video, move on to the next video. Thank you for joining me on how to build a fire in semi-moist winter weather with all natural materials and a box of matches. Oh, you guys are fantastic. I love you, my little woodland creatures, and peace out.